Welcome back, and today we're going to look at two Vosteeds that I've been waiting to come back in stock before I did a video on them, and it's two that I really like a whole lot, and that is the Vosteed Valkyrie. Comes in two different blade shapes. You can get it in this beautiful C-axe blade shape or the sheep's foot blade shape. And they did a different steel on the newer runs. They're now in Nitro V steel, which is an excellent steel, especially in the under $100 category. These were in 154 cm. I like those two steels about the same. And one thing that I can say about Vosteed is that they have produced some of the sharpest knives out of box that I've ever experienced from any knife that I've gotten. Pretty much across the board in any price category. I've had several of them that were hair whittling sharp, and these two were no exception. They come in at $72, and I think what really draws me to the design is its slim and sleek nature. In the closed position, you have a very sleek package, very slender, and they carry very well in the pocket. And at least for me, the size of the knives are a perfect EDC size at 7.6 inches overall length with a 3.28 inch blade. Excellent, not too big, not too small. Choke back, I can still get an easy 4-finger grip, and you can also choke up because there is a forward finger choil, depending on the size of your hands, of course. But I think it should better fit your large, maybe even extra large hands fairly well. Both of the blade shapes are going to be great for utility cutting, fine precision task, as well as being very powerful cutters due to their almost completely straight edges on them. That just means whenever you're, say pushing down into something and pulling, the more you pull, the deeper that edge is going to get, and you're going to have full contact the entire way. Unlike, say, a clip point with a deep belly, whenever you're slicing through something, holding it in the hand, whenever you slide, it's going to be lighter and lighter in that cut because of the curvature of that edge. So I like using, these straighter edges whenever I'm breaking down boxes, whenever I'm, having to push really hard into something. These are an excellent choice. Now, even though I probably carried these about the same, I think I gravitated a little bit more toward the C-axe blade, and I think it's because of that more fine precision tip there. A sheep's foot, you have, this wider tip. This one just pierces into things. It's very bulky, and it's excellent for doing those drag cuts like that, especially whenever you need to get very, very fine, precise cuts. You can also put your finger up there by that tip so you don't bury it any further than you want to be. These both have multiple deployment methods and have very snappy and smooth actions. You have a flipper tab, a front flipper, and thumb studs, and they all work really well. The flipper is probably the best. Comes rocketing out. Both of them have very, very snappy action. Both of them are button locks. And you can, like I said, you can also front flip them. I find it easier to do the reach around on the front flip. And if you want the slow roll, you could do that as well. Being that they're tipped for left or right-handed carry with the deep carry pocket clip, they are totally ambidextrous because you can easily access that button lock left-handed, and all the deployment methods are easy to do as well left-handed. You can also slow roll the front flipper because you can keep contact the entire way. I'm not the biggest front flipper fan, especially whenever you can't do that, because if you're in public and say it's only a front flipper, you don't want to have to, flip it out really fast. It's nice whenever you can do a controlled open. They come in several different options. You can either get it with the black wash blade or a satin finish, and they have G10 options and a micarta option as well. The locks on both of these are super secure. If you didn't see my chart, go check that out. I spine whacked both of these pretty darn hard, and they both pass with flying colors. Now, that said, button locks aren't the strongest locks in the world. Depending on what you're using your knife for, if you're going to be doing some hard use tasks, I might not go with a button lock. I don't care who it's from, but that's just me. That said, like I said, normal EDC tasks, I've never had either one of these fail on me in any any sense. They also did a great job of putting some texture on those buttons and giving you recess areas so you don't accidentally disengage the lock. The pocket clip sits nice and deep, pretty much disappears in the pocket, holds it nicely. You got a decent bit of ramp. I kind of wish they would come up a little bit more on that, but never really had an issue with it. You have flow-through construction, meaning you could easily blow it out, clean it out, and you have one standoff over there in the back. Now, you don't see many 3 deployment button locks. They have patented, I'm pretty sure, the locking mechanism, how they set it up, called their Trek lock. So pretty cool that they're trying to do new things. I like that. That's another thing about Vosteed. You know, I like their design language a whole lot, and the functionality of their knives are just off the charts in my opinion. One little nitpick I have on the knife is I wish they would use T8 throughout. Now, they may have upgraded to T8 on the newer version, but this particular one has a T8 pivot and a T6 for the body screws and the clip screws. Not the end of the world. Never had any problems with any of their screws stripping out on me or anything, but it would be nicer not to have to change a driver and to have one, one size, preferably T8 or better. Being that you have a pretty neutral broomstick style handle and this small little choil, the ergos were pretty darn good with the knife. It fills out the hand nicely. I had no hot spots to speak of. This choke up spot allows you to get right up to that edge to do some precision cutting and, to really control that edge. And even though they're flat scaled knives, you have a nice chamfer right here. You don't have any sharp edges where you don't want them to be. And my dumb self dropped this knife directly on its tip on a ceramic floor tile, and that's all the damage. I don't even know if you can really see that. Just a little bit of, I guess you call it chip or blunting right there. I expected way worse, so pretty darn good. Here's a quick size comparison with the Ontario Rat Model 1 and 2. It's more in line with the Rat Model 2. So overall value, I think these are sweet knives. I think they are excellent knives. 2 knives I could highly recommend. Now, some updates on some of the other Vosteeds that I've been using quite a bit. The Vosteed Gator. This is my go-to cardboard destroying knife. This thing is a slicing beast. It's a big knife, but I enjoy that, especially when breaking down a bunch of boxes. This particular one is in 14C, and I think they stayed with 14C. I love 14C. It's just, in my opinion, comparable to Nitro V. And between the two, I carried this one and use this one a lot more. This one is a lot slicier because it has that higher grind. Comes down to a much thinner edge, and it's just an amazing performer. The action too is just stellar. You have 3 means of deployment on this one as well. The back side flipper, the front flipper, that's very easy to do, and that blade hole, that's so scrumptious. The micarta frag scales are good looking. Now they are a little bit rough on the pockets, I have to admit. I would like them to do just a plain micarta version or put a little flat spot underneath there. I will have links to all these knives down in the description if you're interested. It helps support the channel. You don't have to use my links, but like I said, if you want to help support me, that's one way to do it, or pretty much the only way to do it. Next one is the Vosteed Grind. I have so much fun with this knife because this is the true Scandi version. They also have the one that has the micro bevel on it. This thing is a wood shaving hog. I brought this out with me not too long ago out into the woods behind our house. We have a little nature trail, and I was playing around with this, making some tent pegs, and man, oh man, this thing just eats wood. The action's awesome. They have the crossbar lock that is adjustable. What is it? The clutch lock or whatever, where you can tighten up the tension on the crossbar or loosen it up depending on your preferences. These also have the micarta frag pattern. They are contoured as well slightly, and you have that tip up left or right handed pocket clip. I love that blade shape. It's going to be good at just about anything. If you want to use this as an EDC blade, you definitely could. Just check out my review and testing of this knife. This thing came the sharpest out of box out of all the Vosteed knives that I've gotten to date, and that's saying a lot because they all come super, super sharp. Now, I think the Vosteed Raccoon button lock was my first one that I kind of fell in love with. Mainly because that blade shape is such a useful blade shape. Absolutely love it. I love the whole aesthetic of the knife, the weight. It's nice and lightweight, easy to carry, snappy button lock action. They corrected the issue they were having with, or at least on this one they did, the issue with, the button locks failing because of the spring tension not being tight enough. So they went back to the drawing board, and this one has been super solid. This one has been solid as well. I did have one right in the very beginning that did have some issues, but like I said earlier, button locks can have that problem. 14C28M blade steel on it and several different micarta options. Super comfortable, nice and rounded on the edges. Just an excellent knife. Super snappy. Look at that drop shot action. Another one that's a great size range. Tip up left or right, handed deep carry pocket clip. Just a classy knife. And pretty soon you will have the mini Raccoon coming. So stay tuned for that. And the Nightshade series. Probably my most used of all the Vosteed knives because the blade shape on this is just so useful. The most useful of all the Vosteed knives. You can get it in a flipper version. You can get it in a awesome thumbhole version. Just look at the action on these. All of them are like this. Stupid smooth. It's got the full flat grind and that crown spine. Absolutely stunning. These two are in 154 cm, but they're now offering it in a Nitro V as well. I definitely plan on picking up one of the Nitro V knives from Vosteed so I can do some testing on that. But like I said earlier, I have never had any issues in the performance category with any of the Vosteed knives that I've tested to date. So love them. And if you, for some reason, don't know about the Nightshade, the reason why this is such a useful blade, it doesn't matter if you like the way it looks or not. It's definitely grown on me a whole lot. But the way that blade cants down, comes below that pivot, it acts pretty much as a recurve. Because whenever you're cutting into something, whenever your hand twists, that natural twist in the wrist, your belly gets deeper and deeper into whatever you're cutting. And that point is already pointing in the direction you need to if you want to do some, drag cuts with the tip. Very easy to get down on something. And, full flat ground blade is super slicey. Comes down pretty darn thin. Got nice contoured scales on them. Very comfortable scales. Good access to the lock bar. And like I said, just an action to die for. And if you hear, it has that nice ting on this one because of how fast it comes out and the thin grind. So love the Nightshade. Cannot wait till the mini Nightshade arrives. It's on its way, and I will be doing a review on that one as well because I handled that blade show and I wanted to bring that one home with me so bad, but I couldn't because they needed to show it, show it off. And lastly, two that I don't think get enough love, at least as much love as the rest of the Vosteed knives, and that is the Vosteed Labrador. I'm going to get that right this time. I called it the Rottweiler the first time. And the newest Vosteed Bellamy. Both excellent knives. This is a full-size knife here. It's probably, I don't know, it may be the largest in their lineup. It's either this one or the Thunderbird, but just a classic knife, classic blade shape. I don't think they can do an action wrong. I mean, just look, the action on every one of my Vosteeds is a drop shut. Especially like, if you get one and it's not completely drop shut, try taking it apart. Give it a good cleaning, put your lube of choice on there, and 9 out of 10, it's gonna be a fall shut knife. If you like clip points, the Bellamy is a sexy clip point in 154 cm steel now. Still have those multiple deploying. You got the regular, the front flipper, and you got that fuller that you can do the reverse flick. Comfortable. Now, this pattern on the micarta, if I were to do it again, I would have gotten the smooth just because of my hands. These can be a little uncomfortable for my hands. But they are contoured, and I can attest for their contoured micarta, smooth micarta is very comfortable. This knife is very comfortable in hand as well. For me, I just prefer a drop point, but this one is pretty similar. If you look at the belly, they're pretty darn similar. They both have a good straight edge portion right here to do, you know, in-hand cuts and stuff like that. Liner lock on both of these. Tip up left or right-handed carry, deep carry pocket clip on the Bellamy. This one is tip up right-hand carry only. I do like the little pop of color with that pivot collar right there. I think it looks nice. Yeah, they just did a good job on this one as well. So there you go. That is all the Vosteeds that I had updates on. You know, I like to try to give updates when possible, and I figured since I was going to be doing a review on the Valkyrie, why not? Like I said, if you plan on getting one of these, if you want to help support the channel, you can use my links. You don't have to, no pressure there. You know, just like I said, just if you want to help support the channel, that helps me out. That's, I think, pretty much my only, you know, help I get is from my links. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.